And a big thank you to Desert Financial Credit Union for sponsoring our KRIM Community Spotlight program. Good morning, Rim Country. Chris Higgins in the studio. Hope you're enjoying this beautiful morning. Some clouds up in the sky, and I wish we would have got a little more rain yesterday. You know, it was cloudy and trying to rain, but looks like it's going to be sunny here for a little bit, and nice temperatures, 60 to mid 60s for the next 4 or 5 days. So, boy, it's tough living in Payson. It's such a sacrifice. Anyway, this morning we're going to be talking about Keep Payson Clean, and a group that, just an awesome group that got started here in Payson, and a couple of guys that were instrumental in getting it going. I'm going to hear from them. First, Jesse Berry, good morning.
Morning, Chris. Thanks for having us back.
Hey, you're so welcome. And Daniel Newberry, youth pastor of Mountain Bible Church.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Daniel. And I have to say, Jesse Berry, Parks and Rec. What is your title over there? What are you?
I am the new recreation assistant.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go. I know it's awesome to see you working with the Town of Payson Parks and Recreation Department. It's a great group of people right now. I mean,
yeah.
It's awesome.
And it's honestly such a good time to get onto the team too. We have a bunch of new people on that are just so passionate and so adamant about making Payson as awesome of an environment to live in for the youth and adults alike. So it's a really awesome opportunity to be a part of.
What I love is the department's commitment to, just like you said, making it the best place for residents, but then also the events they put on for people visiting from out of town. Last year, I just heard that constantly from people visiting. Wow, this is an amazing event. Wow, I wish they did this, where we lived. Wow, I've never seen, something like this before. So, you guys really knocking it out of the park for residents, programs for people, Payson residents, and also, tourists. So, it's great.
Yeah, huge shout out to Caitlin Henning over there. She took over that department about a year ago, and she is just putting her whole heart, whole soul into it, and it's showing based off of the public reaction to everything. And a huge shout out to the parks guys too. They are a bare bones crew doing the most to make sure everything happens efficiently and everything turns out as best as we possibly can make it. So huge shout out to those guys over there.
Scott and his crew.
Yeah, got the crew.
Well, hey, we could go on and on and on and on and on about Parks and Rec, but we're going to be talking about Keep Payson Clean, and Keep Payson Clean, for people that have never heard of the group, don't know what it's about. What is it about?
It's about making Payson the cleanest city in the United States. And that's not just picking up trash, it's like cleaning up our acts as people too, taking responsibility for the fact that there is a reason that there's trash out there. And so you can clean up all of the trash in the world, but if you don't clean up the mindset that produced that trash, it'll be back next week. So it's really this mission to make Payson a just very aware, a very caring, and a very clean city. And it comes through the effort of getting together once a month for an hour to pick up trash together. Put everything aside, let's make it look beautiful again. Let's just get together and focus on the thing that we can all agree on. Trash looks better in the trash can.
Yep, and I tell you, there are so many great nonprofits, and now, did you receive your nonprofit status?
Yeah, that's been like the biggest news of the year, man, is that mid-January, we have our official determination letter.
Yeah.
We were approved. So we are a nonprofit 501c3 through the IRS. So we are actually a tax-exempt organization, and that's going to be huge moving forward as far as just getting funding for our events, having that legitimacy for people to want to come out and give their time, give their finances, food, whatever it is that we're donating. So that's just, like our biggest, super.
And you know what, I know this group just embodies the principle that almost every nonprofit in Payson embodies, and that is focusing on their mission. whether it's the Time Out Shelter, the Humane Society, the Senior Center. I mean, goodness, there's so many great nonprofits out there. And they focus on their mission to where there's incredible volunteers, people that give of their time, and they come together for that mission. And there's never, ever any discussion of, politics or how you feel about this or that, or anything that detracts people from doing what they know is important. And it's like, wow, if everything could operate like these nonprofits, it'd be great, because it's not about agendas or, well, I can't work with them because they did this, they did that. It's, hey, let's get together and we're going to pick up trash on this stretch right here. And everyone's out there talking, having a great time afterwards, get together for some snacks, some food, and it's all mission focused.
Yep.
Mission focused.
Right.
Let's get this done. And that's what's great, about Keep Payson Clean. And, most, like I said, most of the nonprofits in town, that's, how they are.
Yeah, and I mean, we're not shy about the fact that our organization is a Christ-centered organization, and we really emphasize that idea of unity, which Jesus teaches about in Scripture. And when I met Jesse, he was just a guy going out picking up trash every day, and he was talking about getting a bunch of people together, and I was in full support of it. And I honestly, I was thinking, like, what are the odds that many people are actually going to be interested in getting up early and spending an hour outside picking up trash? And I have been so insanely reminded of people's desire for a unified effort to make the world a better place. And getting together, the amount of people we've seen show up at these events to pick up trash just for 1 hour, and how excited people get. Like, how many times have we come on this radio show? I think 3 times now, because people are just excited to hear about this, and I think people want unity around one goal of becoming a better community. Right? And I think that's what Keep Payson Clean is all about.
And I love how it attracts people that are willing to take action. I know that's something that you really focus on, Jesse, in your posts. It's like, get out there and do.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever you're led to do in the community, go do it.
Right.
Just don't sit back and complain and say, wow, this is terrible. Boy, these kids in Payson, they're horrible and this and that. What are you doing to help the kids? What are you doing to make it better for the young people in our community? Are you an encourager or a discourager? They're negative about everything. So, and I know you probably have a lot of people in Mountain Bible, and you see other churches, groups. Just both of us talking with Hunter Barr.
Yeah, right.
Young Life. I think you got a Young Life.
I'm wearing a Young Life hat right now.
Yeah. And the efforts by people in the community
Yeah.
to help our young people.
Yeah. Well, and I think the young people, they're looking for hope. And hope is found in unity. And so I think that when they see efforts like this of people coming together and saying, you know what, we're not okay with being substandard. We want to be an excellent community that cares for each other. That inspires younger people. I've been very encouraged by the amount of kids who have gotten excited about Keep Payson Clean as they've heard about it and have wanted to be involved, and seeing the other youth pastors and church members getting involved as well.
Yeah, and I think we can see that. I mean, just kind of going into the origins of where Keep Payson Clean came from is, like, when I graduated high school, there wasn't this community effort on all ends where you see Time Out Shelter, you see Keep Payson Clean, you see all of these groups popping up to make the community a better place. It felt kind of hopeless after graduating. It's like, why would I stay in this town? Like, the older people don't really care about what we need to be successful as young adults in this town, and so it seemed like a better option to go to Phoenix, go somewhere else, just to go where that opportunity would be. And so I think even when I was graduating, I was like, oh, how awesome would it be to have those opportunities here? And that's why you go and seek and search and find. And so upon coming home, seeing the trash problem wasn't just specific to cities like Denver and Phoenix or Flagstaff. It's pervasive everywhere. And so it was this, like, let's get out and clean up our small town. And it makes sense that the youth are so adamant about it as well, because they're like, people are doing something. I want to jump behind that. We all want to feel purpose.
Yeah.
We all want to feel like we have something that we can go to and feel love. We can feel connection. We can feel that unity that Daniel was talking about. And when it comes to politics, when it comes to religions and all these other things, they become very divisive entities, very divisive material. And so the huge part about Keep Payson Clean is leave all of that. You're allowed to have your own beliefs. Please keep them. That's what makes this such a beautiful country to live in, such a beautiful town to live in, is that we do have the ability to have our own belief systems. But once those start to get in the way of like genuine connection, relationships with people, that's when it's gone too far. And even that reminds me of some of scripture as well, where Jesus says, if you have any problems with your brother, leave it at the altar, go and make up with your brother, then come back. But if you let religion get in the middle of your relationships with people, then it's defeating the purpose. This is meant to connect you. Love God, love people around you. So,
and you said this word a few times, connection, and that's what I was thinking before you said those things. It's about connections, and people desire, we all desire to connect with other people. And this is a great way to connect with people. And you find, unfortunately, there are people that connect with people or groups that it's not a positive influence. That it's not good. But again, they're seeking
that
that
trauma
connection.
bonding.
Trauma bonding, and so this is a great way to connect with other people in the community that want to make the community Payson a better place. So Facebook page, that's another thing. You got your Facebook page rocking, and over 600 people, members of that page. It's a group, right? Keep Payson Clean.
It's a Keep Payson Clean Facebook group. I think the last time we were on your show, we were at around 200 followers. We're up at over 600 now. So that's just clear the community support is there. People love what's going on, and we just want to keep moving forward. And so we talk about this connection over the traumas, this connection over maybe not the most positive things. Well, the Facebook page, I think, has grown so rapidly because it's a place where that stuff isn't accepted. We don't let negativity come in. If you're going to show a problem, let's find a solution together. That is the purpose of bringing up issues within Keep Payson Clean, is for us to be able to now create a solution to that. One example is there was a woman in our group named Carolyn. She wanted to be a part of the community, hadn't been to any cleanups yet, but she really wanted and desired to be a part of that. And she was like, hey, the 260 is looking real rough right now. And so I went and checked things out, made a post that day, and we directed people towards that. And 3 or 4 days later, we had the 10 of us out going and picking up trash. Thank you for being there. That was a really awesome day.
No, it was good. I have to tell you though, that hillside, I thought I was like a mountain goat, but I'm not built like a mountain goat at all. So the next day I'm like, ooh, hey, I'm feeling that a little bit from like that being on that hillside.
Get those calves running.
Yeah, I know, a little burn, but no, it's great, and I think it is very encouraging when you're doing things like that with other people. I know one of the first cleanups that I did out of the event center, and yesterday had Hoyt Scablin, CEO of Banner Payson Medical Center, and he was out there with a group of people, and there were groups. I think your youth group was out that cleanup at a different location, because there were like 3 different locations that were being picked up, and it just, when you're with other people, and also you're getting so much more done, and it feels that much more significant, the accomplishment. Like, look at this big pile of trash. Oh my goodness. We did that. This is great. So so the next big big cleanup. Obviously, there's a big cleanup schedule for when?
Yeah, it's going to be April 20th, 2024. So Earth Day is 4/22, so the closest Saturday to that is going to be 4/20. And so that'll be our next cleanup. We are hashing out the details. I'm going to be in a meeting with Hoyt on Friday, actually, where we will finalize all of the details on what that's going to look like. So by the next time we're on here, if you can find all of this information on our Facebook page too, we'll have that posted by Saturday. I'll have all of the numbers and the details, but it's going to look like the same. We're partnering with the town of Payson, the U.S. Forest Service, and the Tano Apache tribe.
Nice.
So talking about that connection, talking about that community, it's really been a very, very, very crucial and important aspect to me, and so I really wanted the tribe to be involved on this one. And so when they said, yes, we would love to be a part of that as well, I lost it. It was so good. And so Friday we'll all be getting together to talk about what sites, what time we're going to be cleaning up, and then we'll have our luncheon afterwards as well. So for that, it's going to be another one of those, bring some gloves. If you have a pair that you really enjoy, wear closed-toed shoes. We'll have water, dumpsters, bags, trash grabbers, the whole nine ready and set up for you. So you just have to show up with some of your time and a smile on your face, and we'll make a huge impact on our community.
That's good. That is good. Again, if you're just tuning in or if you just started watching us on our KRIM Radio Facebook Live, talking with Jesse Berry and Daniel Newberry. I like saying those together. Jesse Berry and the Newberry. Daniel Newberry, the youth pastor of Mountain Bible Church, and Jesse, the recreation assistant at Town of Payson Parks and Recreation Department. So Daniel, your youth that have participated in this, it is I think a case I think you mentioned where we're young people, teenagers or youth, they want to do things. They want to do things, and even if maybe they don't realize they want to do things, do you find when they accomplish something, the impact that has and how it can be like contagious and they just want to continue?
Yeah, the kids that I've seen come to the events are the kids who have been coming to the events. So if I get a student to come to one cleanup, they're hooked and they're ready to go for every cleanup. And the reason is because teenagers, they're constantly surrounded by information of what's going on in the world, but it's not positive information. It's mostly negative of how our world around us is collapsing. And that's the curse of social media. That's the curse of constantly being on a device, is being connected to the world, but being told, hey, here's everything bad that's happening. And so when we get them involved with a group like Keep Payson Clean, where they get out there and they not only witness something positive happening in their community, but rather they're also a part of that positive change, I think it provides hope and it shifts their mindset from the world is falling apart to there is hope in this world and I can be a part of that. And like I said, you bring a kid to one event, they'll come to the next one because they enjoy being a part of that. No kid enjoys being out in the sun working, picking up trash. Like that's not a fun activity for a teenager, but they do like that community and they do like the feeling of accomplishment, contrary to probably what they would say beforehand. So.
No, that's so true. It's like, if we're honest, it's like, oh wow, going to pick up, trash. The thing that I don't know, that I seem to find a lot of the pee bottles. I mean, and it's like, come on now, really? But so the things you find out there also, needles,
right?
Needles, drug paraphernalia. You'll see a lot of that. Plastic bags. I tell you what, my view on plastic bags really changed after that first cleanup there out at the rodeo grounds, and try and pick up a plastic bag that's been on the ground for 6 months, a year, and it just deteriorates, falls apart. You're like, what the heck? It is, and I think it's like anything else. It's good to have that experience,
Right.
because you can have your opinions
Mhm.
of trash, litter,
Mhm.
people that litter, the homeless in the woods with their camps, and you can have your opinion. Get out there and actually see it, clean it up,
Yeah.
Mhm.
pick up, and some opinions might change, and that's how it is. I think in life,
Mhm.
it's very easy to sit back, and if you don't engage in activities and different things, and you just sit back and have an opinion, oh, well, they should do this, and it should be this way.
Mhm.
Get out there and actually experience it, and then, formulate your opinion and see, what you think about that.
And that's the most common thing, man. I think, thing that I have heard the most is, wow, I didn't even realize what this problem was. Like, you see a couple of bags from the road, you see some wrappers from the road, but when you actually get into it, once you get onto just the other side, 5 feet from the sidewalk on the other side of the bushes, and you see an entire camp there that's been abandoned, and there's just old rusted pots, needles, which at our event we will have sharp boxes, so we'll have boxes that you can dispose of needles in the right way. Once you start to see that, you're like, whoa, I didn't even realize what this issue was. And as far as the homeless situation too, I feel like that is a very misunderstood class of people, because people don't take the time to ask questions, don't take the time to be curious. It's just like not being willing to pick up another person's trash that's on the side of the road, is not being able to ask your neighbor, that homeless person, what's going on, what's your name, and talk to them. When I talk to the homeless, I've done a lot of it. The saddest thing for me is, what's the hardest part about being out here? It's not the cold, it's not the heat, it's not the hunger, it's the being stepped over. It's not being said hello to. It's people treating them like dogs because they don't see them as a human being anymore, and they feel dehumanized. That's the saddest part to me, is that we've come to a place in society where we can lock up a part of our heart and treat people like that. That is so sad to me, and so I would say that really coming back around to that mindset of keep pacing clean is like, let's clean up our acts and let's treat people with love, compassion, and create these connections and treat people the way that we want to be treated. All of those things that we heard growing up from our parents, if we were raised right, don't say something if you don't got nothing nice to say, treat people the way you want to be treated, they're not just cliches, they're the way that we should be living in this world. And when we start to create this foundation, like all of these nonprofits are starting to do at the same time, and outside of the nonprofits, businesses, churches, all around this town are starting to make that effort of treating people better, we are going to start to see that ripple out into the rest of our community. And this hopeless world that everybody talks about, I don't see it at all. That's not even a vision of mine anymore. The amount of love I've seen outpour, give us a few years, give all of this a few years, and everyone's going to start to see that shift. So.
No, that's so true. And I'd like to recognize the Payson Homeless Shelter, and Emily and Skylar and all the volunteers over there, all of the compassion and love they show the homeless in the community. And with feeding them, with, if it is cold, providing a bunkhouse, but just being there, for them. And people that donate, to the homeless shelter, it's a great, thing to have, to show people that there are people that still care about them.
Yeah, light workers, man. People just spreading light throughout the world.
Yes, and you have to get going.
Time to go back to work.
You have a meeting, so thank you so much, Jesse.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure, Chris.
Yes, and again, go on the Keep Payson Clean Facebook group, join the group, and you can see when the next events are, or the pop-up cleanups, I call them. But people that just want to go out there clean, you can join if you're available. So, hey, thank you. Have a wonderful day, okay?
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, guys.
Hey, you as well, Jesse. And so, Daniel, I'm going to talk a little bit more about youth group and some events coming up with the Mountain Bible Youth Group, but also in the community with,
Yeah.
with other churches as well.
Well, just like, we're talking about unity, right? And the unity we desire to see and Keep Payson Clean in the community. And we're talking about reaching young people. I can tell you that there are churches in this town who just want young people to find hope, right? And to see that unity. And the youth pastors in Payson, we've got about 5 or so youth groups in this town. And there's a group of us, a group of youth pastors who come together regularly to discuss the future of the next generation, the future of the youth in Payson, and what does their future look like, and is there hope for them, and do they see unity amongst the churches or even just in their community? And so we've talked a lot about how we can come together and work together to show them, hey, churches aren't in competition with each other. We're all here for one reason, and that's to know Christ. And if you guys are going to one youth group over another, we don't care about that. We just want you guys to find hope in this world. And we say that's Jesus. And so we've got a couple of events coming up that I asked if I could spotlight those real fast. The first one is we started a monthly activity called Last Mondays. And what Last Mondays is it happens on the last Monday of every month. Very telling title. Happens on the last Monday of every month, and it happens at Expedition Church, and it's a conglomeration of Mountain Bible, Expedition, Rimview, Fusion, and Young Life all coming together and saying, hey, we want to put on one massive youth event where kids can come to an environment that's not super intimidating, because there's so many people there. You can blend in the background if you don't want to if you kind of want to see what youth group is like, but you don't really want to be put on the spotlight. It's a great opportunity to kind of just come and blend in and just watch. We always have food. It's free. We have fun games. We invite a guest speaker up from the valley who comes up, and they give a guest lesson, and we worship together. And it's really just an opportunity for kids to find something to do on a Monday night and, again, see that unity that we're promoting. And so that happens every last Monday of the month. It's always at Expedition Church. It goes from 7 to 9 p.m. And so the next one is coming up this upcoming Monday, February 26th. That's what that is.
Let's see.
Yep. February 26th. And again, if you're interested in knowing more, you can get in contact with any of those churches, any of those youth pastors.
Nice. And then there's another event. The weekend.
Yes. The weekend is the weekend is kind of where a lot of this was born out of. Last year we did our first weekend event, and what the weekend is it's church camp, essentially. I talked to a lot of kids, and I asked them, hey, who here, like I was just at the Christian school this morning, and I asked them, how many of you gone to church camp before? And there were several kids who had never been to a church camp, and the reason is because it's an intimidating thing to go overnight somewhere you don't know with people you don't know. And it's expensive. Church camps are expensive. And so Mick Allred and I with Rimview Community Church, we got together last year, and he had this idea of, hey, let's put on a local camp that happens here in Payson, and let's invite the other churches to be a part of this. And we can make, because it's local, we can make it a fraction of the cost. It's not intimidating because you're not leaving town. And so last year was our first time doing it. We had nearly 100 kids show up. And this year we're doing it again. And it all happens in Payson at Mountain Bible Church. And it happens from March 15th through the 17th. And essentially what it is it is, like I said a moment ago, a conglomeration of youth groups coming together. And it's a church camp where it only costs $50. That covers food, that covers activities, that covers all the sessions. And they come to Mountain Bible for all the sessions, and then they stay the night at the church that they signed up with. So if you sign up through Rimview Community Church, you stay the night at Rimview. It's kind of like going to camp, but instead of in a cabin, you're on the floor in the sanctuary or something like that, And we always address topics that are personal to the kids at Payson. So last year we talked about depression, and we talked about anxiety. Anxiety rates are going up in teenagers, and we talked about a little bit about suicide, and we talked about the issues of what is it that drives these, and where can you find hope amidst depression, amidst anxiety, amidst the world falling apart around you. And I think it was great for last year, and this year we're talking about how to connect with people when we live in a world that's so connected through our phones. We are constantly connected with each other through social media and hitting each other up on Snapchat. You can know where your friend is at all times, and yet those personal connections are still lacking. When I actually connect face to face with someone, I don't feel like I know how to make that connection. When I'm put into social groups, I don't know how to fit in. And so we're addressing, hey, how do I connect with people in an overly connected world? how do I connect with God in an overly connected world?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Hey, that sounds real good.
I think it's a topic that kids need to hear about,
Uh-huh.
and I think it's a topic that if it's not addressed sooner rather than later, it's going to become a major issue in teenagers today.
Mhm.
So again, the weekend is happening March 15th through the 17th,
Mhm.
and you can sign up online by going to mountainbible.org. You can go to the youth page. That's true. There's a generic sign up on there. Even if you go to a different church, there are options to pick which church you're a part of and how you're signing up.
Mhm.
And like I said, the cost is only $50.
Mhm. Yeah, and I know we talked about you coming on next month to talk more about that event. I think that is a good topic for adults even.
Yeah.
Connecting, like really connecting, really, relationship, having a strong relationship because, again, even adults, so much of our communication done through social media, texting, to where, how does that affect our relationship with God?
Well, even last year when we talked about depression and anxiety, I had several adults who said, "Can you do a weekend camp for adults?" Because we are also struggling with these things.
Yeah.
I'm learning
teenagers
are struggling with the same things that adults are. It's all one and the same. It's just in different ways.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, it's so true. Well, things, and there's things in life, peer pressure and who you're hanging out with. We tell our children and we tell young people, hey, who you associate with and who you hang out with, they have an influence on you. That doesn't change, once you become an adult, in your 20s, 30s, 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
It doesn't change.
Yeah, that's very true.
So a lot of similarities there. Well, hey, thank you so much, Daniel, for coming on today.
Thank you so much.
And again, thank you to Jesse Barry. And Keep Payson Clean if you're not part of the group. Again, I encourage you to join that Facebook group. Doing great things in Payson, and I know I've noticed a difference walking around, driving around. There's still trash out there.
Right.
There'll always be
Keep showing
trash
up
out there. But the more people that show up
right.
to the Keep Payson Clean events, the more people that just while they're out on their walks, that's something that Hoyt mentioned the other day, out on his walk with his dog, takes the plastic bag and just picks up, what he sees. It has an impact. It makes a difference. Know that if you're doing that, you're not alone, that other people are doing that as well, and it's really having an impact on Payson.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's about changing that mindset more than anything else.
Yes. So thank you again. Again, thank you everyone watching and listening, and thank you to Desert Financial for sponsoring our Community Spotlight program. Time to get back to the music with some Eric Clapton, Leonard Skinner, Billy Squier, and more. But first, let's get a quick update from the National Weather Service.
With this morning's KRIM weather forecast.
Alright, and let me just turn off the live stream. See you later, guys.